Greetings, humans and humanoids. Welcome back to the Tractorfella channel, where we know nothing about tractors. On today's episode, I have absolutely no idea what we're going to do, but something has to happen in here. I can barely walk around. That took me a while to get out. All right, so we're going to do that really cool little thing where I set up the camera and then we show the transition of before and after. It should be exciting. Here we are before, and wait for it. Oh, look at that. Quite a difference, if I do say so myself. I'm feeling really good. Got the pallets out of here that had the Jolly Green Giant's snowblower on it. This little guy I got to figure out what to do with. I think I might just keep it for parts. Somebody else actually was kind enough to suggest maybe a motor swap after I put all that work into everything else that I did. But yeah, cleared off some counter space here. Took the nut and bolt cabinet, moved it up here. My wife was kind enough to get this from some people she knew. They were getting rid of it, and so it's full of stuff. Bolts, nuts. I may never use them, but that's okay. That edger that I had, I took the motor out of it. It's a gear reduction motor. So I figured maybe we could find something fun to do with it. This is the motor out of our vacuum cleaner that recently died. Consumer Reports 2005 Best Buy. Rest in peace, my hardworking machine. What else? I took down the ridiculous stand I had here for the camera. We're going to go ahead and I'll probably just put something together out of wood and make a better sort of overhead camera stand. This vise, I might actually bolt this vise down. I don't know, though. I'm still contemplating. My mom and dad came down for Easter. Happy belated Easter for those of you that celebrate. This tool cabinet was in the garage when I grew up, ever since I was a little boy. And I have fond memories of borrowing my dad's tools and then immediately losing them. And then him accusing me of losing them and me denying losing them and then realizing I did lose them. So, sorry, Dad. Love you. I cut the leg off here and added some supports so that I can move this all the way over, get this here, and still let it function, and I can actually open the drawers. Did you notice that the massive sag was gone? Because I put in this beautiful support right here. Just gorgeous. I'm gonna have to find some stain so I can stain it the same color. We have a hanging basket for plants, but this is my rag storage for now. Things are a little more organized, a little more space. Super excited. Next weekend, one of my best good friends, he will come and pick up his boat engine here. Got an extra bike here we found on the road dead. May or may not try to revive it off camera or on camera if you guys really love bikes. But that's about it. Now, I've been talking a lot. What are we going to do for the rest of this episode? Let's go find a toy to play with. And we're back for another day. We're just going wild on shop improvements. Look at this little guy. Simple, elegant. I can adjust it from here to over here. Looks like a little dinosaur to make everyone happy. And then when we're ready, I find the perfect spot and I place you on your home. Maybe turn on the light, get some more light. How nice is that? And then we can work and talk and do spark plugs and fun things. And, you know, as I've said before, Robert is your uncle. And when we're done, ouch, sliver. Pop it out and tuck it into its home. Oh man, this is just a wild time. And what do you know, it's a new day again. So I went out to the lumber crib and I found this piece of wood here. I talked historically. I had talked in the past about getting some plywood to cover this bench because things like to fall into the cracks and then go down into the shelves below it. But I wholeheartedly do not want to move all of this stuff off of there and then recover the bench at this time. This will cover just about the area that I use whenever I'm doing a project. Traffic. Oh, it's topsoil day. Who knew? It is a warm day today. Nice and sunny. 65, 70 degrees. My body is not acclimated to it from the shocks we got over the late March time frame. Not bad, not bad. Fits close. We have a little gap down here. Could be maybe a pencil holder or something like that. This will just be temporary. Who am I kidding? It'll be permanent. Or, as I've used before, permarary. Because I don't want to go full on trashy, I'm going to go ahead and take that section out there. So we have a pleasantly looking rectangle. Well, that's nice and bleached out. Try again. I'm on a roll today. Beautiful. I have a wet rag from our hanging basket. And it's wet because I took it over to the dog bowl and dipped it in the dog bowl. They won't mind. Alright, this is going to give me slivers just about every single day. So we're going to have to address that pretty quick. Surface is prepped. Now we'll let it dry. I found this stuff from your local Ace Hardware. It's a flat black oil-based enamel. We'll see. I kind of wanted a gloss because I think gloss is easier to clean up oil spills and stuff like that, but we'll give it a shot. Worst case scenario, I take this piece of wood and flip it over and we put a different coating on the other side. Ah! Dang it! This is a poor choice. Ah, well that's nice. I'm gonna put that in the sunshine. Okay. This paint is super old, I think. So I have no idea how well it is or is not going to spread. I shook it by hand. Found a door shim. Yeah, there's quite a bit of goo on the bottom. Pretty exciting, huh? I think we're ready. Let's make this new weather-checked work surface beautiful. Isn't this exciting? Watching me paint? It's almost as fun as watching paint dry. Beautiful. It's probably a good thing it's flat black, actually, because when I have the flash on, or maybe a overhead light, I could see some reflection being an issue. So, oh, what a nicely painted, weather-checked surface. All right, we're gonna let that dry. While we're drying, we'll go ahead and throw some drywall screws into there. I think that'll work. Huh? Yeah. Well, I think I found our next victim once that beautiful new work surface dries off. This was my daddy's saw. He bought it brand new, I believe 1988 or 1986. Stihl 028 Wood Boss. Oh yeah. And no, that is definitely not the length of the bar. That's just an extra sheath that came with my saw. The problem that we have is that the oil pump isn't pumping as much as it should pump. Pump. As I sit here in my rocking chair, quick backstory. My dad gave it to me, he upgraded, and I used it for a while, and then all of a sudden I started to use it one day, and the chain got so hot that it actually started sagging way low below the bar, and so I wasn't sure what the heck was going on. I took it to a local shop. They said, yep, oil pump isn't putting out the volume it should. You know, $350 will have you cutting wood again. What? $350? That's like 3 times what the saw is worth. Ugh. So I went ahead and took it apart, cleaned it up, did that, you know, sort of futile. I did that sort of futile attempt to try to see if I could get more volume out of it. Nope, no dice. So let's tear it apart. Well, just look at that. It's oddly dark outside for the middle of the day. And this would be why. I was hoping I could get it through my special little glasses here. Yeah, it's weird out here right now. Probably can't tell on camera. I'm sure it's adjusting for the darkness, but it's like there's a storm cloud moving in, but there's no storm. It's just darkening. It's kind of creeping my eyes out. All right, back to it. Also, have you ever seen this trick? I tried to clean the brush off to no avail. Turns out oil-based paint is not water-soluble. Duh. Yeah, wrap it up in a bag. Should stay good for a while. We can use it for touch-ups and such. Don't you guys wish you were as cool as me? There it is. Moving on by. And it's a new day. I already started organizing. I'm sorry, I know. Shall we dive in? I think we shall. Like I said, a little overkill. But, yeah, let's get the gas out of there. Actually, we might as well try to fire this up. It's been a while. Wish me luck. It's bright out here today. We are choked. Nope. Don't start that. Like it was born yesterday. Okay, let's get to the disassembly. Unnecessarily large screwdriver. Construction across the road. 20 minutes later. There we go. I know I did put a new air filter in there, and it still looks nice. Although I'm highly displeased that there is sawdust in there. Why? I kept the old one. Did I forget a gasket? Why did you keep the old one? Well, for moments like this. For a moment like this. No, there's no gasket there. No idea what that is. Yeah, this is the original air filter. And the protective cloth was just disintegrating out of it. It's funny, the choke on these is actually... Boop. Choke on these is actually just a little flapper that closes off the intake port. Why? Oh, because I'm a complete idiot. That's why. Never put in the second frickin'... Unbelievable. Well, the good news is I don't see anything down in there, and I didn't run this after I replaced the air filter because the chain kept overheating from lack of oil. I'm really upset at myself right now. Really upset. But, you know, when I removed this, I don't remember a second one being in there. Wow, I'm just upset. I mean, this thing it still runs like a top and it still has plenty of power, but I could have really damaged it considering the environment these machines operate in. Man, oh man. Alright, I'm done wallowing in self-pity. We'll just move on with our lives and learn from our mistakes. I don't even need to take that off anyway, but I'm glad I did. And also, my kill switch is not killing. I have had some trouble because... What is this? What is happening here? Everything... Oh my goodness. This is... I'm frustrated now. I mean, it could be a coincidence, maybe not. I don't remember wrapping this in tape, but my kill wire is disconnected from its post. Okay, well, we're going to have to address that. Here, let me show you. Alright, so this little post right here, next to my dirty fingernail, is supposed to be connected to this wire. And when you kill the engine, it grounds out this little post against this metal tab, like so. That would explain why I couldn't kill it, because the stinking wire fell apart. Maybe I can just replace that wire. Let me see, where does it go? Uh-oh, no, I think that goes to the coil. Alright, well, we'll have to look at that too. Man, we're off to a rough start, aren't we? We'll put that on the list. Back to it. No more moping. Move on. Done so much rearranging, I can't find anything. This is going to spill everywhere. Guaranteed. Actually, that went a lot better than I thought it would. Let's see how fuel resistant this oil-based enamel is. Mildly, moderately. Well, we'll see how long it lasts. Oil pump should be on that side. I don't know what I was thinking. I almost grabbed metric sockets. Wait a second. This is a German device. We're all right. Oh, jeez. I'm neglecting this thing. It's been a while since I took this apart, but I believe the oil pump is under this cover, because anytime this is spinning, it should be pumping oil. Got a bunch of flat screwdriver bits. I don't think it's my day today. Whoop! Oh, that's great. Okay. Get that off of there. I was wanting to keep these in their original positions, but it appears they are all the same. Wonder if this has to come off first. Okay, well, let's find out. Let's try not to fire this across the room. Wow, success. C-clip, washer, sprocket, but we have a, what the heck do you call that? Another C-clip. Alright. Nope, definitely did not need to take that off. But, what can you do? Oh, yeah, I did. We'll get this figured out eventually, okay? Okay, here we are. Oil pump. That's right, it's this plastic guy right here. And you just pull it out. There's your drive gear. Inside is a straight cut gear, I guess you could say. So, there we have it. Let's get you in the stand, huh? The other stand. All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and pop these out. You know what's coming. Most important tool in the garage. And there's Aaron's homemade gasket. I tried. Look at this ridiculousness. This is what I had to make. It looks like it might very well have worked. I was told that my oil pump is not pumping. I don't know if this is an early version, but I had a heck of a time trying to find this. They're not made anymore. They have a new variation, which has this little strange fin that sticks out the back. I'll have to show you. Oh, that's right. That's how it works. Okay, so check this out. It's all coming back. Coming back to me now. Alright, I'm done. Sorry. Alright, as this little guy spins at a high rate of speed, you can see the other one moving, right? But also noticed it has a stroke inward and outward. You see that? Little guy goes in, little guy comes out. Little guy goes in, and he comes back out. As it's doing that pumping motion, that's what is drawing oil in and pushing it back out. And you would think there's a check valve in here somewhere. Butterfingers. I remember. This pin has to come out in order for the whole thing to come out. You ever wonder why people do that? Tap, tap, smack. Tap, tap, smack. Maybe it's just me. Yep. Making progress. Okay, there's your pin. Here comes your pumper. That really doesn't want to come out. Okay. So your little pin goes in like that. And as it's spinning, it goes up and down. Pretty good scratches in there. Okay, well, let's see if we can find a new pump, shall we? So this is why I didn't end up ordering a new pump. On our pump, This plastic cap does not exist. That's one issue. The second issue is that this ear is not as proud. This ear sticks out quite a bit. And I looked at reviews. They have these pumps on Amazon, of course. People have had to modify the case in order to get them to fit. I really don't want to modify the case. Apparently, because this is an earlier 028, they don't make them like this, like what we have anymore. It's extremely frustrating, and I can't find it for the life of me. So then I gave up, and the part numbers that I type in, no, it's got that dumb plastic cap on the end. I mean, maybe I will have to modify the case. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here's the one on Amazon. People are frustrated because it doesn't fit. It's the same thing. It's got this big old extra ear here and the big old white piece sticking out the back. Maybe this is one? Okay, every time I touch the picture, it just does silly things. But the suffix on the very nose here on the snout is different. Get out of there. Plus this is using inverted Torx bits. Maybe I'm being too picky, but essentially this part, I believe, will have to get cut out. Is that structural? No. I think it was used to sort of hold the pump in place. And then that little nub right there at the end of my Coke nail might have to be clipped as well. We just might have to do it. This is very disappointing. And then the next question is the gear going to be the same? I don't know. I think I'm just going to order it. I'll order one of the Amazon versions. They're only like 14 bucks. Maybe I can just chop off parts of the pump. I'm sure 98.6% of you have seen how the chain brake works. But if you haven't, the way it works is this band essentially grips this little drum here and causes it to stop moving. The opposite. So I popped the handle forward. That band is now completely tight around that drum. And then when you're ready, give her a squeeze. Let's see how the mechanism resets. I see. It re-tensions the spring on the band. And then when your hand hits this... Yeah, let's do a slow motion. Yes! Okay, let's take off this orange cover here and see if we can figure out where our wire goes and if it's replaceable or if we just need to further mutilate what's already there. And it's gone. Yeah, and the screw on the back side connects to this little guy here. Oh, I'm going to pop the plug out. That'll be good. Little spark plug inspection. We know we have spark because it runs. I don't have my handy dandy Stihl all-in-one screwdriver slash spark plug tool. Well, I do, but it's about 15 feet away, and that requires walking. Looks like a two-stroke plug. Pretty clean though. And what do we have? BP MR7A, made by NGK. Let's see if we can do this at an angle. Nope. Might be able to just do one of these. Holy moly. Why are you on so tight? Oh, because you're attached to the cylinder head. Hold on. I don't really want to do that. Oh, quite a bit of effort into that. There we go. Okay. That was scary. Very scary. Very clean on the inside, actually. Hence, oh, smart. That's to protect the threads, I bet. Probably keep them from corroding to the cylinder head. Okay, well, there it is. Stihl, even has a part number. And the coil's way down there. No access up here. That's where our black wire goes, right down there. So it looks like it's sort of integrated into the coil, and I'm not going to mess with that. We're just going to solder what we have.
Well, let's see what we can do here. Okay.
How am I supposed to fix that? It's crimped down there. This is not taking it easy on me today, is it? My goodness. My goodness. But I guess when you're a 38-year-old machine that vibrates a ton, things are bound to happen. Did that really just work as easily as I think it did? No, my hemostats have seen better days. It did. Oh my gosh, what a luck. What a luck. Who says that? There we go. Nice. Came right out. How cool is that? Use a little bit of CNC cleaner. See if I can spray this all over myself. Oh yeah! Oh, that was like a record distance right there. And I think that cleaned up pretty nice. Okay. We will let that evaporate. That looks pretty rough. Can I pull this down some? Not really. I mean, I guess we could repair it. The Berkling. Little update for the Berkling. It does not like to ignite when in cold temperatures, which makes sense. Gas like this doesn't like to evaporate and make fire when it's cold. Just my cent and a half. If you're going to use one, fantastic during the summer months. Keep it warm in the winter. That's what I had to do when I was repairing the generator when it failed on Christmas. Wrapped my hand around it and warmed it up so that I could get this thing to fire. Now, let's get some shrink wrap. All right, help me out here. Does that look the same? Looks the same to me. Well, let's snip it, strip some back, and see what we have to work with here. I think this one's too small. And we're back for a new day. One of my best good friends came over and picked up his boat motor. And now we're gonna have to get out the Johnson. Also, in the midst of coming over, he dropped off a whole bunch of stuff, tools, fasteners, all kinds of good stuff that I have to go through and find a spot for. He said, "Hey, I have some stuff. Do you want it?" And I said, "Yes." Pretty cool oil cans, though. Oh, we got something in there. We'll have to explore the flammability coefficient of that one later. Anyway, let's go ahead and take care of this wire. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the smaller gauge. Is it really smaller, though? Hold on. Switching camera. But the question is it really smaller, though? Pardon my finger. I had to put tar on our roof again. I think they're pretty dang close. We'll give it a shot, see what happens. Oh my goodness. Our road is a train wreck of epic proportions right now. 2 straight days of rain don't do good things for dirt roads. Ever. We need this to essentially go down here. And be able to curve up. Although it's going to go behind. Well, let's use our brain here, Aaron. Where did that cut piece of wire go? Did you keep it? Oh, you did. Oh, I was going to use a ton. that would have been a bit of a mistake. Does that look good? I think it looks good. All right, we'll do a slight bit longer, just because I'm that type of paranoid human. There we go. In the midst of the gifts, he also brought over this nice soldering jig, so that should be able to help us out nicely. I always have to remember to point the exhaust upward because I end up melting things. Let's get a little fluxation on here. Seriously? Oh, that's just great. Come on. Didn't need a whole bottle of flux. What do you think the risks are of having an open source of flame next to the inlet of a carburetor? That'll solve our problems. I just don't want any fuel vapor to come out this direction, even though I'm sure whatever's in the opening has evaporated at this point. Now instead, we'll just light the paper towel on fire, and that'll for sure burn what's in the carburetor. I think that'll work. And I didn't even completely overheat it either. Wow. And we'll check the heat resistance of the oil-based paint. Hot. Not hot. We are doing well, folks. We are doing well. What a beautiful day. Loving the birds. Silver wire. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe someone can tell me. Well, now that that's squished, let's see if it'll go back in its home. It did. Oh, it actually has a groove cut into it. on the front here so that it can accept multiple pins of multiple shapes, but that's not going to hold in there very well, so I don't like that. What do we need to do here? Maybe curl it over a bit. There we go. Nice snug fit. And we are contacting our little kill bar there. Now my hands are completely sticky from all of that flux. Where did this come from? Well, oh no, we're good. That's a fuel tank vent. There's a screw in the top. It looks like this must be some type of check valve. I don't know, but the whole vent is... What is happening here? What is this? They thread in... Why? You got a vent port right there. Can you see that? See that little guy sticking up right there? That's apparently a vent for the fuel tank, which made what I just did even more dangerous. But why does it have threaded? I don't know. Let's pull them out. Need to replace that that line anyway. Need like a micro screwdriver. Yeah, this line's disintegrating. Let's just pull the little guy out, shall we? Okay. There's one. Because you would think a vent line should actually, you know, vent. Maybe it's just a small tube to allow for some expansion? Kind of hope the fuel lines going to the tank are in better shape. I just did some research. They're called grub screw, G-R-U-B, grub screw chainsaw vents. I still don't understand how that's going to vent unless... Oh, that's weird. So that's... Okay, check this out. Picture. So check this out. They're saying that the air will essentially make its way through the threads and vent out without causing a fuel leak. Geese! Honestly. Interesting concept. I did do some research online. They said don't thread these in, because if you thread them in, the threads will cut grooves into the straw, and that will allow the threads to sink into the plastic, therefore not letting the gases make its way around the threads. Fascinating. Who knew something so simple could be so effective? Okay, well, let's make our own grub screw vent. Pretty sure it's going to be important to get the inner diameter correct, so I'm going to find the least destroyed section of tubing. So let's see what we're working with here. Yep. This knife's about as sharp as I am. Holy cow, this is useless. Surgical scissors. Thank you. Now, they said, important. Push the thing in the tube. Don't actually thread it. And also, these need to be clean, because if the threads are clogged, you won't have any ventilation. Do a little finger sacrificing here. Ow. Ow. Alright, well, I'm going to clean these up, and I will bring you back when I'm done with all of this thrilling wire brush cleaning entertainment. Well, I'm not too sure what small tool to shove these down in the hole with, but this might not be very easy either. I mean, the top one doesn't really have to go in very far. And I don't think the threads have cut in there. Doesn't look like it. I think it's doing what it's supposed to. Some people said you could take a small cutting device and cut down the side so that you never have to worry about this not venting properly. Because if you're running with the two-stroke, some people reported that the plug would be, or the vent would get plugged. And once it gets plugged, you have the same amount of airflow going into your engine, but your fuel flow is reduced. And you run lean, and then you burn up your engine. But I figure this worked for approximately 35 years. Yeah, 38 years. So I'm not really worried about it. I'm going to think about this for a second. All right, brand new work desk. Think it'll cut? Absolutely. Flatten the top out. Oh man, this isn't gonna work. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this done Started to wonder if this tube needs to be this small. No, there's no way. I'm going to cut this and pull out these grubs and put them in the bigger tube because I won't be able to get this on that vent fitting. I'll barely be able to get this one on the vent fitting. My poor new bench. I've always wanted to ride in one of them fancy helicopters. Looks like a news network. Going to report stuff in our rural town. Yeehaw! That's still good. We'll save it for later. Maybe we'll find another tank we need to vent. That was significantly easier. Definitely should have left my nail in the workbench. But good news, it's easy to reinstall. And now, oh, look at that. That is wonderful. And I feel better about this too, because if it was really squeezing those grubs that hard, makes me wonder if it was starting to mold around the threads. M-O-U-L-D. Or is it M-O-L-D? Whatever. Get out of there. The tool pile is getting very real right now. Okay, that looks down there pretty good. And this goes through here. And there's our grub vent. Very cool. Whoop! Yes! My wish was answered. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm guessing the line to my frost-free hydrant here either broke or fell off. So that's good. Noticed a drop in water pressure in the house and thought, must be time to change the whole house filter. No, must be time to shut off the well pump and put an extra pump in the well to pump the water out of the well that shouldn't be in the well. In the well. Always something. Welcome back, folks. It's a new and exciting day. So I think I've discovered something with the oil pump. I think it is a faulty oil pump, but we're going to play a little bit first. Here is our pumper, and here is our pin. So what I noticed is that at the extremes, which means the bottommost of the stroke and the topmost of the stroke, there's play in between the plastic and the pin. So with the pin location here, this is the bottommost location of the stroke. And if you look, kind of hard to see, but I can move that back and forth a pretty good amount in there. If we go to the furthest inward location, in other words, it's shoving the oil that way, also has quite a bit of play in there. So I think what's happened is essentially the surfaces that are required to force it that way and force it that way are worn out. So let's put it back together, run it a little bit. We'll do a part load run, see how much oil comes out. We'll tear the pump off, and then I have a couple of ideas on how to play with this. Here's the plan. Battery is full. 3 bars. We are going to use double overdrive on the drill to get the most speed out of it. Turns out a 12-point fits perfectly on this, so we will spin this at the maximum speed, generating the maximum amount of oil flow. And that should come out of that little guy right there. Then, once the oil starts to flow out of here, I will start a timer on my phone, and we will time it for 20 seconds of oil flow. Hopefully, with any luck, after I clean this up a little bit, the oil will trickle down, catch into this jar, and then we could measure approximately how much oil flow we get. Then, we're going to go through. We're going to make sure this vent is open. This is the port that is venting to the oil tank. We'll make sure that is open. We will blow back through this to clear out the filter in the tank. And then, we will do another test, and we will see if the oil flow increases. And then, lastly, if we get no oil flow increase, we'll take the pump apart and we'll try to mutilate it and make it pump better. Oh, and the honey tank is completely full. I filled it all the way to the top with the Stihl platinum bar and saw chain lubricant, as seen here. It'll probably be close to impossible to measure any difference in the flow of oil because it's not really designed to pump that much oil. Also, I think I'm wrong. It won't come out here, it'll come out up here. I mean, it's supposed to come out up there. Here we go. Well, that's rather interesting, isn't it? I am going the right way. Yes, chain goes clockwise. Let's peek at the back and see if anything's rotating at the back, shall we? Okay, so you're going to be keeping your eyeballs right there at that white wheel in the background. Not this guy, but the one in the background. That should be spinning and also moving in and out. Here we go. It's definitely doing what it's supposed to, or it appears to be doing what it's supposed to. Yummy. Funnel? I guess. Well, there's a chunk of something that just came out of there. That's great. I was thinking to myself the other day, this might be a nice limbing saw, you know? But I'll be darned if it probably doesn't weigh as much as my 362C. So I wanted to pull that filter out that's hiding down there. But it's not long enough for me to remove it from the oil tank. And if I take it off, I don't know how the heck to get it back on there. Looks pretty clean overall, I would say. Hopefully you could see some of that. Let's get some air, start blowing through things. Okay, let's try the vent first. Whoa. Almost went hind over tea kettle on that one. Oh, I can hear it in the tank. It almost sounded like when I first applied the air that there was a little pop. So either I blew up something in there that's not supposed to be exploded, or that vent opened up. Now, I gotta figure out how to get air into there. Viair, your vital air solutions. We're not inflating a basketball today. That's not enough pressure. No, that's not gonna work. Because if I blow through here, the pump could be in a position where it's blocking off the port and it may not get back to the tank. So we need to pull the pump off again. Yes, there is oil. And it is freely running down the gasket. So it's safe to say the port that goes to the tank is not plugged. It's starting to look more and more like the pump to me. Alright, earlier I was curious about the oil flow. Now we know, right? It comes out of the top port into the pump. Pump can only transfer it one way, and that's out of this bottom port into here. There's then a passage behind the gasket where it sends it over and up, and this must be the port that somehow gets all the way up here. So let's fire some air into there and see if we can splatter oil all over our face. If it wants to be stubborn, let's blow through the top, see if it comes out the bottom. Oh no. I'm wrong. I'm completely wrong. I am very much wrong. Watch this port here when I blow up here. Can you see it? Probably not. You'll have to take my word for it. When I blow through here, comes out this top port down right here. So this is the supply from the pump. This would be the supply from the tank. So we now know that this goes in the tank. We know that this goes up here to this guy here. It looks more and more like it's the oil pump because we had oil in this passage. Which means we had oil in this passage. Which means it should have pumped up to here, but it never did. And we just blew through it, and it's clear. I'm going to blow through here and see if I can hear air coming through the tank. Yeah, it's freely open. Have a listen. Okay, so everything checks out as being clear. We know we don't have a blockage. We know that I'm talking to you while you're staring at nothing. We know everything is free and clear. We have flow from the oil reservoir to the pump, and then we have a clear passage from here up to here. And we also know that our vent is free as well. That leaves this little guy right there as our culprit for sure. Well, now what are we going to do with this uncooperative little meatball? Well, we're going to tear it apart again. I was also thinking about it. If I had a leaky gasket, it would have just pumped into the case. If you look at this little pin, one side's smooth and a little tapered compared to the other side. So I'm thinking we flip the pin. It's good for it. So now I'm thinking we actually take Mr. Slippery Pin and we flip him over. So he essentially has a new surface that has not been worn down yet. So that should help make the pump move a little more. Now what I'm going to try to do futilely, is I'm going to try to reshape this. Apply some heat here bend the plastic that way, and then possibly add some plastic filler here. This is pretty much just a silly experiment because I'm sure it's not going to do a dang thing, but why not? Well, it turns out this is completely fine. It goes up to my frost-free hydrant. My frickin' well is cracked. Oh no, it's not cracked, it's completely rotted out. Son of a... That is a hell of a hole. Okay, well, now what do I do? Well, desperate times call for desperate measures. Got a hose clamp on the top side of the hole, hose clamp on the bottom side of the hole. I then have this structural member, this also structural member directly over the hole. Behind both of those is a whole bunch of this folded up into squares. And those squares are covering up the hole. So I'm hoping that we can at least get some water in the house to fill the toilets and then see what a real repair is going to cost. Yes, please. Holy it worked. Nope, leave it on. I'm gonna see if it's gonna hold. I don't know how long it's gonna hold, but I just wanted to fill up the tanks. You should hear a click in the basement when it's done running. Yeah, because I want you to turn it back off and then go into the tank room and shut the red valve. Welcome back, folks. It's a new day. We had water last night. Isn't that nice? Today, hopefully somebody's gonna be out to tell me what the damage will be to replace that component. I'm going to warm up this area here, attempt to move it that way just a little bit so we get rid of some of this open space here, maybe give us a little bit more of a suction stroke. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this spot here. I don't know if I'll even be able to get any material in there. Here goes disaster. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm just hovering it above the flame so I don't melt the plastic completely. As expected, it looks a bit melted, but you can tell I was able to fold some material over here and do the same on this side, up top here. It actually fits in the bore a little better, probably because, you know, I clearanced it a little bit, but oh, why not, you know? So let's throw it together and see if we get any oil flow. I doubt it. I bet, because I found the manual for the saw, and I bet the clearance between this pin here and the housing is too large. It's just plain old worn out, like a set of piston rings. So anyway, it's fun to play. Let's try it out. It's now or never. Well, that's not true, but all right. Let's try it out. Place your bets. What do you think? Is it going to pump? I don't think it's going to pump. I think it's worn out. I'll be the pessimist, and then maybe I'll get surprised. All right, 3, 2, 1. Pretty sure it would have pumped by now. I think it's pumping down in the housing because our gasket's junk, and this whole experiment was completely useless. Keep an eye on it. Oh, well, that wasn't good for it. Hold on here. Do you see what I see? No way. There's no way. Oh, come on. Get in there. Well, what do you guys think? Did we magically fix it by melting plastic? or did we fail to prime it long enough the first time? Obviously, I need to buy a new pump either way. I just wish I didn't have to because they don't make this style anymore. Let's see. If I go slow, does it still pump? That would also be a good test. From what I read in the manual, it's a linear pump, so it doesn't matter what speed you're going. The flow will basically be a straight line from bottom to top of the RPM range. So it shouldn't matter how fast or slow we go, it should still push oil. And if it doesn't, then you know that it requires additional speed. It's pushing oil. When the pin starts to push in and force oil through the passage up to here, I can feel resistance. So it is for sure forcing the oil. Bloop. Let's put it together and run it. We'll just time-lapse this for you. We'll time-lapse this for you in a place where you can actually see. How's that sound?
Yeah!
All right, let's do it. Screwdriver's junk. I found it. It was with all of these. It's all the same screw. But I don't know. It got stuck underneath the saw or something. Ugh. That was scary. I opened the window so we can listen to a storm roll in. Also, I've been trying to figure out why this stinking thing is so sticky. It's because of the flux that's splattered everywhere. We'll clean it out, and then we'll blast it out. I'm also durability testing my workbench. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. No black coming off. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This thing's gonna drip oil for the next year after playing around with it. Let's fire it up, we'll run it, and watch and see how the oil flows compared to using the drill. Alright, I don't want to get gassed out, exhausted out, so we'll hang out next to the lightning and choo-choo. Here we go.
That's a lot of oil.
That baby's pumping a lot, like more than I ever remember. Question is, did I fix it, or was something else clogged, like the vent? I guess we'll never really know. We'll just say, yeah, Aaron, you fixed it. You know, the sad part was that my dad had the original bar the entire time that he used this saw. I think he actually gave me a new bar when he gave this to me. And then, what happens? Things start going awry. And I was doing all the things that I was supposed to be checking. Is the port open? Yes. Do the ports line up? Yes. starting to get rained on through the window. Oh boy. Oh boy. Don't worry, folks. We'll be safe in the garage. I think we'll be safe in the garage. Alright, I'm gonna get a fresh towel on this and see where I keep getting oil from. It's obvious I need a new gasket with this. Anyway, it's been fun. I'll see you later. Welcome back, folks. It's a new and beautiful day. It's time to take it on its maiden voyage after oil pump mutilation. Oh, it's less than I thought. We're gonna go chop up a dead tree that fell down a long time ago because my wife asked me to, and I haven't done it yet. So I should probably do that now. Okay, bye. I actually used the bucket of my tractor to to push it over. It was so rotten. And it's been sitting here ever since. And that was probably, I don't know, last fall. So, anyway. No, I'm not a professional arborist. Arborist? Tree guy? Not a professional tree guy, so I'm sure I will not be doing the perfect form. And you all can tell me about it. The chain is beautifully soaked. I am out of shape. Had to set up the props, take a picture and send it to my pops. Let them know the Stihl is still kicking. Well, I'm a happy boy. I mean, this chain has plenty of oil on it. And you saw it spraying that log there. Almost wonder if it tightened up a little bit. It may have. I haven't seen it perform this well in a long time, so either we unplugged a passage or we somehow made the pump work better. Either way, I'm going to leave it, although I am going to get a new gasket for it. I think that would be a good idea. Man, that was fun. It's been a long time since I've used this little saw. It's really a trooper. Growing up, my parents bought a chunk of property and cleared the property of trees to build the house on. And my dad did it all with this saw. It's funny, this saw is classified as an occasional use chainsaw, according to the manual. One more thing, and then I promise I'm done. So I think I was freaking out about the intake because I didn't actually take more than 1.5 seconds to think about it. If you notice, there's a big pile of dust on top of where this sits. So when I took it off, you have to tilt it at an angle, wiggle it to get it out of there. So chances are I pulled it away, some dust fell in there, and then I had a panic attack and well, you know, Bob's your uncle. But air filter definitely did its job. You can see it was clean before. It's definitely not now. But intake, whoop, beautiful. B-E-A-beautiful. All right, I think it's time to call it. It's getting long. We're at about an hour now on this video, and I know most of you watch. There's a human walking this direction. Anyway, I think we're about done. This video is getting close to an hour long. I know most of you watch like 20 minutes of most of my hour-long videos, so we don't want to make the torture any worse than it is. Anyway, we got the saw going. We got the oil pump doing something better than it was before. Pretty exciting. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to replace the gasket for the oil pump, and then I'm probably going to eventually try to find an oil pump to replace it with, because our little fix here, I don't think it's going to last forever. So I'm being watched, and it makes filming very awkward. Very helpful. Very helpful. Do you want to be on camera?
No.
I didn't think so. Get your butt out of here. As always, if in the future, get away from me. I can't do my outro. As always, if in the future, I'll see you next time. I'm gonna